All right, let's call this meeting of the Newburgh School District Board of Directors to order. Join with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, the timing.
Now we can say it right. We have a quorum. Everyone's here except for Mr. Berkshire. Approval of the agenda. Approve. Motion, Mr. Shearer.
Second.
Second, Mr. Birdsong. All those in favor? Motion passes. No public comment. Consent agenda items. Approval of the meeting minutes from March. Financial statement. Motion, Mr. Lewis. Second, Ms. Wells. Passed.
Dusty
Abstain.
Abstain.
Approval of bills for payment.
Have any questions on those? So we have one for the person who came down to do it. And then what happened was they had it all packed up against the back of the fence and any place for people to park. They were gone. So our custodians are out there trying to figure out what to do. So one of them brought the tractor from home and did it. And so we said, we should at least say thank you to them. So Doug and I had talked about it. I couldn't recall if we talked about it in the board, but that's what
I think you sent us out on an email.
I sent it in
saying
Friday.
that there was an issue with the snow removal.
So the fact that he brought his tractor, did all that, it got us in school the next day, because I really don't know. Probably could have gotten in school the next day. And he was doing it right until custodian left, finished it, came back and went. Yeah, thanks for asking that. Anything else that you see? You can see like Bolte, that was a throwback from a while back, but the bill hadn't got paid. That's nothing new.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it. Second, Mr. Shearer.
You can vote.
Motion passed. Administration reports. Yeah, we'll do the FFA ag report.
Wait so patiently back there.
Yeah. So many for all hands.
Coming all the way up.
I'm gonna introduce them, or introduce this, and then they'll present, and then I got my presentation part at the very end. So welcome, thank you for having us. My name is Taylor Strain, and I'm currently the Ag Advisor and Ag Teacher here at Newburgh. This is my 8th year, and so very proud to be here. Today I brought 7 of our officers here to present with you. They're gonna go over different activities and accomplishments of our chapter and kind of some things that are special to them. So just an opportunity for them to increase their public speaking and also just some awareness. We share a lot of our stuff on social media, and I many of your children in school, so you kind of know what we're doing, but it's an opportunity really for them to engage in public speaking. And how do I go?
Just use the air.
Okay, thank you, yeah. Okay, so just kind of our agenda for today, I'm going to let them introduce themselves with kind of a fun slide that we've presented all throughout the year at different occasions. They're going to talk about leadership opportunities. They're going to talk about student SAEs, career opportunities, achievements of our chapter over this past year, kind of focusing in on what we've done since we were here a year ago, and it's just some of their activities, their favorite activities. Many of those tie back into career or leadership opportunities, but just wanted to kind of highlight those. We've got some fun pictures. Abigail has served as our historian this year, and Katie is our reporter. So between the two of them, we've had lots of really great pictures of our student successes and activities. And then towards the end, they'll talk to you about some of our partnerships and how our kids are engaging in some community level events. And then I'll kind of end up with our course offerings, our enrollment, and kind of where that looks like. So anyway, I'll give them the floor, and they should be prepared, ready to present.
Okay, I'm Paige. I'm currently a senior here at Newburgh, and I serve as our president for the chapter. My favorite activity is National Convention. Every year we have the opportunity to apply for National Convention, and then we further that application. Then we have an interview for convention, and then we travel to Indianapolis. It's about 6 hours, and then we travel with Rollins. We listen to national officers give speeches. We listen to leadership sessions. Just huge leadership opportunities. There's plenty college boost, career fair. Insane. Like there's no way you can touch every single one, but we do go to a lot. My favorite class this year is floriculture. This is my first year taking floriculture. We've had a lot of opportunities we've done weddings, we've done the cancer gala, and we obviously have a big Valentine's Day sales every year, so that's fun.
Hi, I'm Abigail. I'm a sophomore this year. This is my first year as an officer. As Ms. Wright said, I serve as a historian, so I take pictures at events and I'm making our scrapbook, and I'm almost done with it. I'm so excited. My SAE is cut flowers, so I grow all these beautiful flowers, and hopefully this year I'll start selling to make that profit. My favorite FFA activity has to be my contest team. Last year I was a part of Knowledge, and we made it all the way to state, which I'm super proud of. And then this year I was a part of poultry, and we were able to go to district.
Hello, my name is Wyatt McCormick. I am a second-year member, first-year officer, serving as the Sentinel. Some of my hobbies include hunting and fishing, reading, art, and golf. Favorite activities have got to be my contest teams. Did poultry this year with Abigail over there, and did Knowledge last year with 3 fellow officers here. My SAE is equine care. I have 3 horses at home. Take care of them, feed them, brush them, all the good stuff. These pictures here are me at several activities. That one there is National Convention. One down the middle is the Christmas parade in Newburgh I think last year. The picture on top is after the Pulaski County Fair sit-up. Great milkshake, by the way. God bless Culver's.
Hello, I am Ryan Hall. I am a second-year FFA member. I am a first-year officer. I am one of the co-chaplains. The other one was going to be here tonight, but he had a doctor's appointment. You will see his slide further on in the slideshow. But I've loved FFA. My sister's been a part of it her entire high school year, so I decided to join. But some of my hobbies consist of hunting, fishing, and gigging. That sucker you see right there, that's the biggest one I ever got. Pretty proud of it. But on the left of it is a photo of me getting baptized. That was in 2024. And I was really proud of that moment. And it's what kind of pushed me to be one of the chaplains. And I just love that moment. And then there's a photo of me throwing discus on the bottom left. The photo looks cool, but it did not go far. Trust me. And then my SAE throughout this year was poultry, but I ended up selling all my chickens, and towards this summer, when I get my license, I will be moving towards a placement SAE. And yeah, that's it.
Hello, I am Terry. This is my second year in FFA, first year as an officer. I am the assistant treasurer. I serve under Vanessa Hull. My favorite events have been National Convention and the officer retreats we do in the summer. That's my parents, and the big picture you see was the knowledge team we had last year. She said we made the state, and to have done that.
Just kidding. He's at the doctor.
Hello, I'm Joel. This is my 3rd year in FFA and 2nd year as an officer. I'm currently serving as our vice president. My favorite FFA event is probably National FFA Convention. You'll probably hear a lot of us say that. It's really fun, great learning activity. The top left is me and doing pole vault and state, which is really fun. Then me on my dirt bike, us at nationals, and a picture of me and strength, who's been a great advisor this year.
I'm Katie. I'm a reporter. My SAE is the online bakery where I sell baked goods. My favorite activity so far has been the food science contest.
This is the Mountain Grove Leadership Conference. It is something we go to every year as the weather permits. It is very fun. Me and Wyatt have both been the 2 years we've been in high school and allowed to go. It is a great way to learn leadership skills. Like last year, we had to figure out a way for a big group of people to like each get their hand on a ball within a minute, and like it took us like 4 tries, and we had to like figure it out. Until one kid, like we couldn't figure it out until one kid said somebody just run through it like a running back, and all of us just like hit the ball. And honestly, it worked. We got like 28 seconds on it because the kid was super fast, and like those are just the type of like leadership skills we learn from it. We learn to persevere, move around objects, or go through them. Just depends on like how tough you are, like mentally, if you can get through it. And if not, it'll also like teach you that you have friends that can help.
Another thing, there was a guest speaker there. Her name was Carrie Portel. I believe she's a cattle rancher as well as a car crash victim. She was in a wheelchair there, but she's been teaching herself how to walk through physical therapy and just perseverance through a couple of years. She said she could walk, but not very much, and her presentation was eye-watering. It brought many of us to tears, myself included, and just honestly, we should always persevere through life.
Okay, next I'll touch the Youth Leadership Day we had the other day at the state capitol with Farm Bureau. Me and Vanessa traveled to that. We met at the Farm Bureau office in Jeff City, and kind of just like touch base on what we we're going to do on the day. And then we traveled to the state capitol, and we got to kind of just, tour around there. And then we met with our state reps, Biddy Cook and Tara Peters, and got to see their office, so that was neat. And then me and Vanessa got the opportunity to walk to the top of the Capitol, which I've never done, so that was interesting. My legs hurt for a week after, but it's fine. And then after we kind of just like wrapped the day up there, and then we went back to Farm Bureau office, and then we listened to Mike Kehoe give a speech, and we kind of just wrapped our day up there. And his speech was very interesting. He just told us a little bit about himself, and then he opened it up to questions, and there was lots of interesting questions in there as well.
So I'll talk a little bit more about National Convention. So it's a very good learning experience. There's lots of colleges out there. There's a lot of supporters of FFA alumni. There's just a lot of great experiences you can have. Like I think I talked to probably around 20 colleges, just getting information about lots of different fields, maybe acclimated fields. The speakers were really good. One year we had a girl with autism who actually formed the cattle gates. She actually formed those, talked on that. It was very interesting. You get to hear your national officers speak about their experiences, maybe push you to be a national officer, go for it. It's just a very fun event, very learning, very, very helpful for all of us.
I would like to add, the speaker's name was Temple Grandin.
I'm gonna talk a little bit about state convention. We just went to this last week, every year. Me, Kinley, and Paige all left early on Wednesday. Me and Kinley actually got the chance to be delegates at this convention, which was Thursday morning. We made 2 additions to the Constitution. One of them it's really going to affect us going to affiliate membership. Meaning that anyone who is in an ag class is in FFA. You don't have to pay, so it takes out that. Any other factors that's limiting someone to be in FFA, they're just going to be on the roster. Which is super nice for us, and it helps me train a little bit in different events we're going to go to and stuff like that, which is nice, which that amendment passed. So, and our other one was just cleaning up the Constitution a little bit, but it was nice. Me and Kinley got to be a part of that. And then Friday, we had 5 state degree recipients. Only 4 of them were able to make it, which was super nice. Having 5 state degrees from a small chapter like this is awesome. Like, most people only have like 2 or 3, which is great. And that was actually the most we could send. We could only send 10% of our attendance or our membership. So that was super nice. We got to have all 5 of them. And then Friday, the rest of our group came up to support our state degrees, even if they got sent home a little early because of the storm.
I mentioned earlier about the officer retreat, just to speak a little bit more on it. When we do this, we plan out our calendars, and this also helps us build trust with each other and figure out how we work together because this is for the new officers. We do this in the summer at Miss Rain's parents' lake house. Great time. It's not only work, we do have some fun there. Can you speak a little bit more?
We do set goals for our chapter as well as make our own little constitutional rules where our officers are hopefully following them, as well as we get to do teamwork bonding games, as well as get to know each other.
Okay, so I'll talk about a little about SAEs. SAEs are a supervised agriculture experience, which is a part of the three-circle model. So first you see me, I am a server at Applebee's, so I practice like safe food handling, sanitation, all those things. Food production has been my SAE since my freshman year. I started from my freshman year at Dickey's Barbecue and worked there until last year. I worked there for almost 3 years, and then I just moved to Applebee's last September. And then Kaylee on the right, she works at Seven Brew, and hers is the same as mine, a placement food production SAE, and she just sells coffees. And she actually does her ag flex through Miss Strength, so that's neat too. And then we do have more placement SAEs than this. We have just not every kid had a picture of them working, but we do have multiple like food production SAEs. We have a kid that works at McDonald's, and then we have some more working, like Ryan said, this summer when he gets his license, we have some more working towards a placement SAE.
Just to add in, an SAE is a supervised agriculture experience, if you didn't know.
I said that.
Oh, I didn't.
Some of our ownership SAEs involve agribusiness and floriculture, like James Blobble. He makes raised and sells them, and then we have Nate Bazaar, who is in poultry production, who raises chickens and already is in egg production. And then we have mine, which is a food production where I sell bacon.
And here's a few more ownership SAEs. Nikki, she's one of our officers. She has multiple SAEs, beef cattle, poultry, and specialty plant production. So she sells plants and raises her animals. And then Kim Hammock, she has poultry production. She's actually just hatching some chicks. They should be hatching soon. And her agribusiness. And then we have mine, specialty plant production. So I grow and sell cut flowers.
So we go on a lot of field trips, and I don't know how many of y'all are around school daily, but if you do, you'll notice like how many flyers we have up and all that for countless of like things we do through it. But our most memorable like field trips are like the guard trucking tractor field trip. Like they take us through a tour of their whole facility. They show us all their machinery. They show us how they work, and they even give us opportunity like for internships, paid internships, all of that. And they actually hosted a competition for like all the schools that come throughout like FFA week that we won. So that was pretty impressive.
Twice.
Yes, twice. And we won a $1,000 scholarship for that this year, which was really helpful for our chapter. And another one of my favorite field trips that we went on was Farm Fest because of just how massive it was. I don't know how many acres it was, but I can tell you it was more than 15. And there were so many facilities, like booths, machinery, and they had great ways to start your SAE for like the freshmen that were there that were just now getting into FFA. You could buy chickens, rabbits. They even had kangaroos there. I don't know if they were for sale, but it was very notable. And it was a great time to be there.
One of the more educational trips we took was to the Warnack Research Farm, which is operated and staffed by several colleges in the area. We talked about several things, like animal science, plant science, how they affect the biodiversity of the area that we live in. One of the more nasty ones to me was the cow. They had a hole cut inside of the cow that led to its rumen, one of its sports stomach chambers, and you got to stick your hand inside and feel the grass in there. It was very interesting to do because I think they had a guy that was talking about drones, how they like water fields and stuff, like these huge drones. They had a guy talking about hay and how it affects or how they use it to feed cattle, how they rotate fields for grazing, and very educational trip for everything farm related.
Okay, so we've been talking about different contest teams we've been on. There are two types of contest teams, CDEs and LDEs. With CDEs, it grows it's career development event. So it helps you go into the pathways of a future career. So like poultry, which me and Wyatt were a part of, just like learning about USDA standards, how to care for a large amount of chickens, different meats and eggs and all of that. So that's all stuff we learned during our contest. And then I think Joel's going to talk about ag mechanics.
So the ag mechanics, you can see me, Josh, and Caden. We all did it, and there's on-site welding, which this year we did stick welding, which is my favorite. Then we had that you had to get engines and see what's wrong with them. You had to wire a three-way electrical switch. It's a lot of hands-on work, and we actually got 5th out of 10, I think. So we did pretty well.
Another contest you'll see on here is food science. I was on it along with my friends, Mariah, James, and Dylan. There was multiple parts to a food science competition, such as a sensory test, objective test, as well as customer inquiries and audits. I made first in the area contest.
As she mentioned, there is a second type of contest called an LDE, which develop soft skills like communication, time management, and teamwork. This team made it to area. They didn't make districts, but the made it to area. They placed in silver. Our team last year, which was me, Abigail, Brian, and Wyatt, we made it to state by placing first in both area and districts.
On the right-hand side, we have some of our achievement. Well, we have both, but I'll talk about the ones on the right. So in the top, Caitlin Collier, she received her American degree last October in Indianapolis at National Convention. This is the highest degree you can get, so that's pretty achieving. And then in the bottom, we kind of already talked about our state degrees, but we did have 5 state degree recipients, so there's 4 of us. The other girl couldn't be there. That's a huge achievement. Also, that's the highest state level award you can get. And then Ryan Carey talked about our $1,000 prize from GAR, but they will present that check with us at a banquet. And it's super nice because we are a small school and the other schools are like Rolla, Waynesville, Dixon, Cuba, Salem. So like all those schools are pretty big compared to us. So it's nice to be able to get that based on all of their size of the other ones.
That's your second win there too?
Yes, our first one was actually my freshman year in 2023 when we won that. So it's been 4 years since we won it. But
two-time
yeah.
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 Also, at the state fair, we are able to enter some of the things that we produce in our ag classes, like cutting boards, floral design, some pies and cookies and stuff, into the FFA building, which is kind of like home arts if you've ever been to the Class East or the Phelps County Fair. And we had 2 winners. We had a reserve champion for corsage, which means that it was the second best out of all the corsages there, that was Maddie Mason. And then I had one of my dahlias go and get reserve grand champion, which was great, which was the second best of all the cut flowers there.
So other activities we do is the blood drive, which is just very beneficial. We're giving back to our community. Every pint of blood is 3 lives saved, which is just a very big deal. It gives students a chance. We also get a scholarship out of it if we get a certain amount of donors. Yeah, I mean, it's just a very good thing to help save lives.
Yeah, we get some teacher involvement. We got Miss Campbell and Shannon up there giving blood.
And our advisor.
And our advisor.
All right, so we talked about some of the field trips we've already been on, and here's some more photos from them, like Eva and Laney in the side-by-sides at GAR. Like I said, they let us get in there, like get into the machines and stuff, start them up, honk the horns. For a good solid, I'm going to say 30 minutes, all you heard was throughout the entire thing. It is funny. And then here's another photos from the Farm Fest that it took us like a good 10 minutes to get that photo, but we got it, trust. And then here's some photos on the way back. And then
Had some photos from Warnock over there of the entrance. That was our group photo, and then over there in the corner is a picture of Terry, me, and a buddy of mine named Gavin.
Another event we go to, is barn dances. We have one in Rolla every year and one in Salem that has a few other venues there. They're a lot of fun. It's a great party and a great way to relax after a lot of work. Here's a couple different pictures of people enjoying it, being it. There's a group photo from one in Rolla, I believe.
So, as I told you, like our ag department has a humongous group. We have like 50 members like active right now throughout all grades. And we have like kind of like prospects in 8th grade that are going to come up from being in their agriculture class. Like in this top left photo, that's them making applesauce that they do every single spring. And what the class does in the winter, because it's like split up into two, they'll make wreaths, which, as we've seen earlier in this slideshow, that turned into a kid's SAE because he liked it. And here's like a photo from our floriculture. They did a wedding, and that was them afterwards. And I believe that top right one is them preparing for it as well. And on the bottom right, we have one from our farm day where we had all the elementary kids and preschool and all that come out. That is our president, Miss Paige Dyer, giving story time. And then we have our food science class preparing meat. And speaking of meat, we have 3 of our people preparing to do fruit sales, which we sold, which we ended up making $22,000 from that. And that was pretty impressive. That was our biggest amount ever. And then we have another photo from our farm day of Hazel teaching how seeds sprout in there.
I'll talk about some of our partnerships that we do. So in the top, we got to participate in the Cancer Gala this year, which was a huge opportunity. This is all out of our comfort zones. We had, as you can see, like Lainey, the one that she has was a tennis ball. So we had to make these crazy arrangements. They were just absurd, but they were neat. They were cool to do. And I think we'll continue to do that in the next years. So that was huge. And then in the bottom, we have Phelps County Farm Bureau. Every year we do they have an annual meeting that rotates from Newburgh, St. James, and Rolla. It was in Rolla this past year, but the year before that we had it here, and that was nice. We got to tour, let people tour our facility, as we do have one of the newest facilities. And then they present us with a donation check at the annual meeting every year. And then Phelps County Fair, like Abigail mentioned, we can enter stuff in the home arts, like art projects, plants, all those things. And then most of the time you receive a small cash prize from that. And then Pulaski County Fair every year we participate in their fair cleanup. We just kind of like tidy the place up. We put up fences and like gates for the livestock and all of that. And then in the bottom we just have some pictures of our floriculture designing a wedding. We have done maybe 2 weddings in the past, and I think we have some more coming up in the summertime, so that'll be fun. And then hopefully we'll get to help Miss Strain with her wedding, so that'll be nice.
One of our goals during our officer retreat was to get the elementary involved more. So at that officer retreat, we planned to have a cookie decorating for the elementary during Christmas time. We had grades from preschool to 5th grade down in the ag department, and they got to decorate 2 cookies. It was super fun. It was like 4 hours, so it was a long day, but I have so many cute pictures. I had to like minimize what I put in my scrapbook. And then also during FFA week, we planned a farm day. So we had, I think at one point we had the whole school down in the ag department. It got pretty hectic for a while. We had them in the kitchen. They made butter. They learned some more ag-related things about popcorn. We got Mr. Herde down there petting Vanessa's duck, and Mr. Dunn petting a bunny. And then we just kind of talked about things ag. We had some tractors down there. Different kids brought down their animals and those fours, and I got to talk about some hatching some baby chicks. So it was a fun day. Okay, here's my kind of my part. And then if you have any questions, of course, we're open book. But here's my report. You've seen this before, but just so I'll remind you if you have forgotten or anything. So I get to see all the 8th graders currently, how we run our program. So I can see all the 8th graders for a semester at a time. I'm back to teaching Hunter Ed inside our 8th grade program, so that consumes quite a bit of our time, but it kind of hits on our conservation piece that we don't always hit again until they're sophomores. So we don't hit on a ton of conservation in our program, and I'll be able to tell you why with some statistics, but that's kind of where we're at. All 9th graders that come to me come to Ag Science 1, and all 10th graders come to Ag Science 2. Beyond that, the other courses kind of come in a rotation in our program based on scheduling, based on interest, based on what we have as far as facilities. Right now, usually I teach advanced ag in a rotation with animal science. Right now I'm teaching floral design on and off between floriculture, but mostly teaching the same content. And then food science, same, and then mechanics and construction. Then I do have some students that are doing an SAE hour, an ag flex hour. Ag occupational experiences is what we called it when I grew up. So those students are invested in their project. They're either going morning or after school, and their projects have to be tied back to agriculture. So a little bit different than the regular flex, but those are typically my students that I'm wanting to keep as active FFA members and trying to encourage them to further their projects. Our enrollment, our FFA enrollment, people always ask me how many members you have, and so I always have to go back and find somewhere around 60, but we actually have 62 paid members on the roster, and in a minute there'll be a slide that says I have about 70 non-duplicated students in ag. So one of the things that Abigail brought up as part of their conversation as a delegate is they actually went to affiliate membership. So that allows us to, instead of members paying individual dues, we'll still have to collect that money somehow, but we will have, every member will have the opportunity to elect in and be part of FFA, and then we'll have to raise that money just a little bit differently. We won't be able to call it individual dues. There's some challenges, and as ag teachers and FFA chapters, we're working towards that, but it will hopefully break the barriers, especially in some schools where you have 50% membership. Right now we're at like almost 90% membership, so we're pretty strong in that, but for some schools it makes a big difference, and we heard a lot of that discussion, but ultimately that's where the state of Missouri wanted to go, which will make us even more of a powerhouse on the national level as one of the states with the most membership. So that 62 number does include a couple of graduated seniors that as they get into their American degrees and stuff, they stay on their roster. Some of them show livestock and continue to do things until they're 21. That's their age out number. Not all of my students opt into paying that, or our number would be even higher, but just a few do. So our enrollments, I have most of the 9th grade class, and I have 22 9th graders that Paige and I get to see every morning. She's my student aide. And then 21 10th graders, 16 11th graders, and 11 12th graders. So as they're getting to 11th, 12th grade, sometimes they're doing other things, sometimes they're going to vocational school, but we're retaining, most of our numbers. And we've lost some students over the year. Some have, maybe lost interest in agriculture. Some have, unenrolled from the school or gone online or done things like that. For the most part, we're retaining that membership most of the way through. Students are receiving an embedded life science after they take an Ag 1 and Ag 2 and another Ag class, then they're getting an embedded life science credit. So hopefully kind of help encourage them to take an additional Ag class or to have some free time to be able to do something that's important to further their future. And then our 8th grade class, of course, you guys know, is pretty small. So I have only got to see those 14 kids, but 7 this semester and 7 last semester that we've rotated between. But seems like an excellent group, and excited to see them come up. But that will impact our membership number as we go. You'll see that as a lower number all throughout the year. So. Our Newburgh Student Career Pathways, this is probably the one that you've seen a lot, and I should have probably put last year's on there so you can compare, because I did compare as I do every year. But we are still very heavy in the ag mechanics and technology, with 33% of our students interested in that career path. And side context, I'm sure I've told you this before, but just a reminder, students can only choose, of the 70 students that fill this out, they can only choose one area. So some are really interested in 2 things, but they can only tell me one on this survey. Then the other thing that's interesting to me is we've got some plant science and some horticulture interested. I believe those are kind of coming from my floriculture students. I've also got some students that are interested in gardening, and I think that probably leads into some discussion about a greenhouse in the near future as we start to see that piece of our pie get a lot larger. Then we have a tie for our 3rd place, food science and ag business. Ag business is one that kind of surprised me, but I think if you compare back to their presentation, I have a lot of students that have ownership projects, So those are projects where they are their own manager and their own business, and I think that's what's become more interesting to them. They're interested in more of that ag business and that entrepreneurship. So, I mean, it excites me. It should excite you as community members that people want to start their own businesses and be invested. So we'll look towards some additional, ag sales, ag business curriculum to intertwine in some of our courses down the road. Maybe more, I've been leaning more maybe on animal science, and we need to rotate a little bit to ag business. So, and then animal science comes in a little bit lower, I think just for the price of animals and the price of being able to have land and the financial commitment that takes as well as time, I think draws some of our students, plus they get to choose one. And then we got our one little student that said they want to be in conservation natural resource. They probably want to be a conservation agent. They'll probably stay there the whole time. And of course we hit on those things, but they get to choose one. So anyway, some other kind of visual representation of things I thought was interesting. I've not included these before. So we have our non-duplicated numbers are 70. Our duplicated numbers is 83. So there's a few of those students I see more than 1 hour a day. But 70 non-duplicated students, and then our ratio, 51% male and 49% female, so pretty split, which is interesting. And then our ag enrollment by grade and gender, same thing. I have a lot of female ninth graders, a little bit less female, or a little bit less male ninth graders, and it kind of just fluctuates as we go, but we stay pretty solid all the way through. That'll be my last slide. Yeah. I tried to put myself at the end so that if you were tired of listening, I would be super long. But anyway, we definitely appreciate you letting us get up here and talk and share about our program. Obviously, I think you can tell from all of us that we're very passionate about what we do and the representation that we do for you. So if you have any questions for me, for them, anybody got anything?
We appreciate it.
Awesome job.
Yes.
Hopefully we didn't bore you to death. Yeah.
Yes. You guys are fantastic.
Thank you guys for your support and showing up and seeing us at things. That always, brings a smile to us.
Yes.
Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Usually raise.
Yeah.
Principal. Principal.
Sure. See our attendance staying steady there, 93. So here, Ms. Smith been working hard to get our teachers, students, district ready for testing. She is the district testing coordinator. I know her and Ms. McClanahan, the elementary counselor, work very well together, getting the testing ready. And Ms. McClanahan takes on a lot of responsibility for the elementary side. But her and Ms. Smith got a really good working relationship. And we actually began testing today on our end with the 8th grade science. And we'll be testing the next couple of weeks or so for that. But do appreciate her attention to detail and her diligence in making sure that everybody was ready. We trained the staff Monday for testing. She did a phenomenal job with that. So I appreciate the work that she's put in. A couple of weeks ago, Miss Hellerbrand, some of our junior and high school students did theatrical production. Small number, but they really had a really good performance. Actually had like a two-person play, but it was actually really well done. There's actually 4 people in it, but 2 had main parts. Some classroom activities over there too. But it was really cool to see our kids get to excel in a different arena. I did put in here, Coach Simley was recently recognized by the State ADs Association for 25 years of service. That's an AD. Most of those are in West County. We know the last couple of years have been here. We appreciate his dedication and the energy he pours into our kids in our district. I think we're better off because he's here. So appreciate that. It's good to see him get that recognition. Ms. Smith and Mr. Moyers administered the ACT a few weeks ago. I put on there we had 30 students take the test, so 16 juniors. We opened it up for the seniors, optional for the ones needed. We had 14 seniors take the ACT, and so just good numbers there. And I know we had a few kids that were really looking at that math score. That's something we talked about a lot for the A+ scholarship. And kids who were looking at that first and saying, "I got what I needed. Now I can get that scholarship." So to me, I think that's well worth, what you guys have, agreeing to pay for that for our kids. I think kids are going to benefit from that. So glad to be able to do that. And we talked about this briefly with the ACT test. Some kids have surprised themselves with the score. Now, like, they gain a little confidence, and we don't know where that confidence can take them now. But that's a neat thing to see too. You were on Facebook, you saw we did the docudrama a couple weeks ago. Just a staged drunk driving accident, head-on collision. I mean, it was treated like a real thing. All the first responders, the coroner, everything. The makeup was phenomenal. I know the kids were saying, the kids that had the makeup, there were student actors in it. When the first responders came up on the scene, they were blown away by the quality of the makeup because it looked real. But really a cool thing. Hopefully, get our kids to think about the choices they make behind the wheel of the car. We do that to save lives. I do want to give, there are a lot of agencies involved in that, you know, from EMS to helicopter to the Sheriff's Department, Highway Patrol, the coroner, the Merrimack Regional Planning Commission played a big part in organizing this. And Brandon Williams from the New Little Fire Department, he put in a ton of work to make this happen, to make sure it's well organized, have the fire department on standby to take their calls so they could commit the day to this. It was really a cool thing for our kids. Junior high and high school bands recently participated in the Frisco League Band Days. I went down to the high school performance, and it was a beautiful performance on the high school side for Frisco band. You know, our band's growing. Our biggest numbers are in the junior high, so we had 3 students go for the high school side, but they really appreciate the opportunity to play with the big band. And that's one of the things that's kind of a highlight for them. But they did a good job. That was a good day. FFA blood drive, as mentioned just a little bit ago, but they keep meeting their quotas, and you know, obviously saves lives, but also earns our kids scholarships. So. State convention last week for FFA, but also want to close with just talking about our junior high and high school track. Every meet, I get a list of, there's probably 10 to 20 something personal records set for every meet. Junior high has smaller numbers, so the last night they had 10 personal records set, which means they just keep improving their scores. High school, it's common to be in the 20s. Every meet, just set their scores. We've had 3 school records set. At the high school level, freshman Callie Ross broke the record for the 200-meter dash. So our freshman breaking the school record already. So promising things for her. And in the junior high side, Corbin Wheeler set a couple of school records on the junior high side in the just the short sprints and short hurdles. Looking forward to great things, you know, from him too when he gets into high school. But then I threw in there Ryan Hull was here with the FFA. The very first meet of the year, he threw javelin in the meet for the first time and won the meet. And so you see some really cool things happening, but also just the personal records. Because really, yes, it's a team sport. You want this team points to win the meets, but kids are competing against themselves, just trying to outdo what they did in the last meet. And we just constantly see them, you know, growing and getting better. So some cool things happening there. Yeah.
I missed it. I was worried about watching him do the hurdles. It's just fun.
Yeah, he's an athlete.
Wow. He floats.
And he's broken his own record more than once.
Yeah.
And he's also set a meet record. And so, like, he's just
fun to watch. They all are.
Any questions, Mr. Dunn? Yes, sir.
Okay. As you can see, our numbers are there, and they stay about the same from last month. Our average attendance is a little bit lower than normal. We did have a big sick wave go through our elementary there, so we're still recuperating from that. We did have our family engagement reading night the other night, March 31st. We did something a little different this year, and I thought it was a huge success. We had a lot of parents here. A lot of happy, I have to give a shout out to Mrs. Fain because she had it going on in her room. She had a glow party going on with music, and the kids were, she was the hot spot for that night. It was good. It was fun. The kids had a good time. So got a lot of parents in here. So
The 4th through 6th grade music concert was last week as well. Miss Campbell did a great job there. She worked very hard with those kids to put on some great music there. We got a ball game coming up, Springfield ball game. We're going to take grades 4 through 6 down there for their field trip on May 6th. Water Day, we're going to do that again. Doolittle Fire Department is going to come and get everybody wet again this year. So hopefully it's a little bit warmer. Last year it was pretty cold, but kids don't care. They had a blast anyway. But so we're going to do that the last week of school along with field day. We're going to do another field day. Coach Pursune's going to help run that. And then we're gearing up for math as well. Our 5th grade start this week, 5th grade science. And then we're also summer school. We're working on summer school enrollment. We got about 60 kids signed up so far. I mean, it's early yet, so we'll get more. But
What's a normal enrollment?
about last year we had like 128,
I had
130,
128 in my head.
128. Yeah,
That's what I had in my head.
I think that's about right. Yeah, last year. So
Now, that might have included high school too.
it did.
Yeah.
It did. That did.
So I don't know what our high
It
school
included
numbers
his
are
high
for
school
sure.
side as well. Yep. Things are going good.
You ready? Financial stability needs to be probably our top topic for right now as we move into our budget season, but we just have to be aware. And I just feel like it's important to say, I know you all are aware of it, but we do have a new financial reality going on here. Lots of shifts in basically in what has been our steady programming with finances is shifting now. And so we really have to be honest about what's going on. There is uncertainty regarding our federal, our state, and our local revenues. So have to be very mindful of that. Had some good conversations with different people in key positions to try to understand really how we need to plan. And the guidance to me really has been if we can really be careful over the next 2 years, show some financial constraint, that after those 2 years it should level out and we should be able to do more planning that we can rely on the numbers a little bit better. December 1, 2026 is the goal for the task force to submit their foundation formula. And so again, the foundation formula is one of the shifting pieces, and then tax structure is one of the others, and that's our 2 big buckets. And so once we know what that task force recommends, what that's going to look like, that will take effect the 27-28 school year. That will help us to understand a little bit about funding from that direction. I have run the numbers of what they currently were recommending. I shouldn't say recommending, what they're currently playing with as a formula, and we were about $100,000 less than where we sat right now, so it was not as
Not a big impact.
as bad as I was anticipating. I thought small school was going to be hit a little bit harder, and so
right now.
that was what they were doing at that time, and they were asking everybody to give feedback on what that formula looked like. But we'll see. They still have a ways to go before they reach their final destination of what they think it's going to look like. And then, of course, you all know the current legislation is very highly focused on tax shifts. It's focused on school privatization. It's focused on choice bills. We're expecting to see open enrollment again pop up here at the end. It's not focused on public education as far as funding it. It might be focused on defunding it is really what it is. So being mindful of that, what can we do? Be proactive, protect our reserve. We are so lucky in Newburgh. The work you all have done, the work the financial focus that's happened, so important. So staying focused on the fact that we have that large reserve, manage our staff to student ratio in a reasonable amount, continue to work within our budgets. I think one of the things that we've done is get WebLink in play where we can really see exactly how much money's in that fund, whether or not we can spend money out of it, or what that looks like. We can say no if we really don't have the money to do it. We don't say yes. And so just being aware of that, managing or monitoring our revenues as they become available and seeing if we're getting, sometimes they say we're going to get this amount, but we don't get it. And so when we are, what are we getting? Really staying close in tune with that. We are in a good place. So regardless of the uncertainty out in the world, we are in a good place. And so I think that's one of the things, and I mentioned it to our staff on Monday at our PD day, It is scary, and we should be aware of it. We should speak out, and we should share opinions with our legislators, but we don't need to be scared. We are in a good place here in Newburgh. We just have to continue to provide that outstanding environment for our kids, continue to support our teachers, do the things that we can, and just be mindful that we have some uncertainty. We're going to ride out these next 2 years, see what that presents, and then maybe have some certainty or some more reliable numbers to focus on in the future. But just, I feel like it's important that we speak to that, and we talk about it, and we make sure we understand where we are and what's going on, and then we're mindful of that in our decisions, which I think you all will be, but also helping our community and our staff understand our decisions. Recruiting, attracting, developing, retaining high-quality staff. After this evening, we anticipate no instructional openings for next year. We will monitor federal programs and our title funds. As they become available, we'll get that budget ready in June. We do anticipate with title funds that we will probably want to get one full-time para for next year, but we're not going to make that call until we see what our numbers are, and then we also look at our data and see what the needs are. But we anticipate from our current data that we'll want to add a para, which is not really adding; it's just replacing somebody. Is really what it is. So we'll make that call later, but it'll all depend on where those finances are at that time. Just some instructional programs, quality education. As you can see, FFA is going very strong. Wow, I'm always so impressed with them. They're down there off the beaten path, and I wasn't an FFA person, even just because I just didn't grow up that way, so I didn't know. But I'd see the kids talk about it, and I was like, oh, that seems neat. But I didn't know, and so to see what they do is just, I don't know, I get a little extra impressed by it. We have a pretty strong chapter. Junior high school track, high school golf, band. The theater we had a couple of kids in theater, and they just put on a production a couple Fridays ago, and boy, they're just doing a great job. Upper elementary, I do want to throw out a big kudos to Miss Campbell, because Mrs. Campbell and Davita Smith saved us in the elementary for music this year, and those two ladies are just two of the most dynamic people, I think, for us to ever get to have on our staff, and to continue to get to have on our staff, because they just get it. And they just step up every time and time again.
And they'll just keep going.
They do, and they just show up for our kids, and the quality that they produce, even when they're like, I don't know if I can do that. And then, oh, lo and behold, they do this amazing thing. She didn't just have them sing songs. They put together a production that was focused on equality and recognizing differences in each other. And I just sat there and went,
wonderful world.
it's a wonderful world. And she had the entire audience sing.
It's a wonderful world.
It was wonderful. And I just sat there going, is there anything you people can't do? I just think
Well, we
we've
haven't
got to
found it
recognize.
yet, if there is.
Right? Those two people, David and I were talking the other day, and we always have these little quick powwows, and we talk about something, and then she looked at me, she goes, what are they going to do around here without us? I said, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
And you quit talking like that.
Yeah,
You didn't discourage that
she's
discussion.
planning to come back and she goes, how do I do that? I said, how do I go and put you on the list? Okay, that'll be great. I said, I'll just put it in there for next year. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So she's
Then
not
we'll
going
vote
too
her
far
in for
away.
a full-time stuff.
No kidding. No kidding. And Christy's not going anywhere. Good Lord, those two people, they can't say enough. As you mentioned, our teachers had a highly successful Title I night, and you as well. And just a chance to sit there and listen, even though it was loud, and there were kids talking, and they couldn't wait to get on their way to the fun. It did give a chance for those that could hear and could read the information they were sharing to recognize the success that's going on at the elementary with our reading. You know, those things, the foundation is being built, and to see that as the kids move through is going to impact our middle school and high school. And those teachers don't realize what's going on, but there's really some great things going on at the elementary. So to get to highlight that evening was nice to listen to. Just mention our facilities. Music, our insurance company was here doing an inspection. I haven't gotten the information back yet on that. But she stopped in, the lady who did it, she was a former superintendent, and she stopped in and just a compliment. She goes, you all have the nicest facilities. It is just so clean. Everything is so nice. And I just thought that was nice. She came in to find me just to say that, and then to tell me, of course, that Carl was highly knowledgeable, how wonderful he was. So I'm pretty sure Carl brought her to see me, but regardless.
He led her right.
He let it right in there. But he is highly knowledgeable, and so they had a good little time there doing the inspection. And then our bus inspection was held recently, but I don't have information back on that. Staff appreciation first week of May. I just want to put out there and invite any parents or guardians that want to send a note of thanks to teachers, to bus drivers. If you want to send snacks, drinks, I don't know if people do that. We used to do fill the fridge types of stuff, but I like to put it out there to people. If anybody feels inclined to do something like that, our teachers sure do appreciate it, and it is a good time to just stop and go, thank you for all you do, because they're the ones who make our world go round. They do it. So I encourage anybody who want to do that, the kids who want to do that. We'll be doing some fun things each day of that week. To
Might as well just
celebrate
make it the whole month.
the whole month.
Yeah.
Why not? Pretty sure jeans will creep into the whole month. Like, maybe we will celebrate the whole month. But just a good time to appreciate our staff who are just dynamic, and we can't thank them enough. And then I had to mention this because our high school kids, I've not seen this in other schools. Of course, I was an elementary person, so maybe I just missed it, but the times that I see them sing happy birthday to staff members, like, what a cool thing. So I just missed it when I walked out the other day, and they just sang to Carl. And they just, make his day. I watched them one day, they're singing to Mr. Evans, and he just turned around. And, like, what a cool thing that our high school kids recognize our staff members with their songs. So I had to mention that. When you talk about a good, healthy culture, that's like feel-good stuff to get to walk up, see them all smiling, and it is good stuff.
They
Anyway,
just did Miss Brinkley on Thursday. So
Say that again, I'm
They
sorry.
just did Miss Brinkley on Thursday.
did they? I missed this.
Yeah.
It's just, they just do it. And you see younger people do it with the kids in their class, but to see the older kids do it with the staff members, that's good stuff.
Our kids really love our teachers.
Yes.
I mean, for the
They
most
do.
part, they really do.
They
I mean,
do. It's a happy place to be.
Yeah.
And if you don't
It
know,
needs to
you
be.
show up around lunchtime and you see the kids playing Uno, and they're talking to the teachers and they're talking to each other, and you just sit there and go, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Phones aren't in their hands.
Well, what's fantastic is you just said we have 0 positions to fill for next year.
Wasn't that cool?
That's awesome.
That's something.
fantastic.
I'm glad that our people want to be here.
Yes. Our kids, it's a good place. So anyway, that was my report. Thank you all.
Any questions? Mr. Simley, you have anything?
Any questions for me? We're obviously in spring sports, so we've got golf and track. If you have any questions for me, we've got a little over 20 track kids, 8 golfers. Things are going well. Conference track meets tomorrow. We just completed our elementary team camp. We had a camp, and it turnout was okay, not as good as I hoped. Basketball, yeah. So we had a basketball clinic camp, and I think we had 15 to 17. That was boys and girls, 2nd through 5th grade. I was hoping we had a few more, but it is what it is. I appreciate our coaches doing that. Something we've really been pushing them to do is get our younger kids involved. So we appreciate them doing that Tuesdays and Thursdays. So they did it 2 days a week, and the kids seem to really enjoy it. So things are going well in athletics. If you have any questions, let me know.
I think it may have been after I wrote my report. I did neglect to mention boys golf. The team got 2nd at Frisco, and we had the conference champion in Gage Holderby. We had another medalist in Nate Killian, and then Ryland West was 1 stroke away from being all conference and medaling at the meet. And so really good showing for boys golf.
It's too bad we can't get them a solid coach.
Imagine what could happen.
Hey, and you should pay one, you get a solid. When it's a freebie, you get free labor.
You know what? You want to know what, Tony? It's good to be on this side of that conversation.
Yeah. For once.
Yeah. Except for the 5 years for baseball.
Well, action discussion items. Approved food service contract for 26-27.
26, 27. So we've got ladies from OPA here and from Upper Crust. If you all have questions, I have a 1-sheeter in there to kind of give you some feedback from our committee. We met, let me pull it up real quick because I forgot to print myself one. We had a couple of different meetings in a committee with a variety of people from our school on that. We gave scores in the area of price and cost. You need to be, that's a primary factor. We looked at service capability plan, experience, the financial and business practices, accounting, reporting systems, personnel management, innovation, and promotion of food service with our students, staff, and patrons, and of course, support for Missouri Farm to School program. And so as we went through each of those, we looked through, here's the 2 binders that they sent, but you guys also have that whole thing downloaded in your packet so you can look through it as much as you wish. these were the hard copies. As we went through that, we just awarded points out of 10 for each one of those companies and where we felt they fell. Upper Crust had a cheaper price when it came to lunch prices. The other CACFP and breakfast were kind of a wash in how those fell out. When it came to service capability, they were about evenly matched. We gave much higher points to experience and references for OPA. We did for financial practices, business practices. We saw far more from OPA on that one. Accounting and reporting was close, but we felt like OPA edged them out just a little bit on that one. Personnel, about neck and neck on management, it seemed, from both of those presentations. Innovation, saw a lot more on the side of OPA from innovation. Promotion of food service, we'll give just slightly edged out with OPA, and then involvement of students, staff, and patrons. We saw a more involved program coming from OPA on that one. Farm to home, about evenly matched. The overall recommendation of our committee was to go with OPA, and the reason that committee made that recommendation really just has to do with the catering that we've seen that's happened and that supported our staff, our students, those meals, like the homecoming meal, different things that you provide. And then the surveys that you're doing, you're really looking at the problems that are going on and what we need. And so that was what we saw, was that the surveying has really made a difference, and therefore the innovation in the food service that you're showing really has impacted our kids. We're seeing a lot more high school kids eating. And so I think that they just really have that handle on what's going on here, and what you can do to maybe make that difference. So the committee's recommendation then was to go with OPA despite the difference in the cost. So any questions you guys might have of me or of...
How many people did you have on your committee? I don't need names, but just approximate.
No, let me see here.
4?
No, there's more than 4. No, I've got them listed there. Let me just say 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5. 5 people on our committee. Try to just get a selection around the district. Yep.
Do we know how many K-8 or K-12 districts is Upper Crust in now?
Currently, we have 2 public K-12s in Missouri. Last year was our first year in going into the public K-12 sector. I myself have 20 years of experience in this sector, which is why I came on board at Upper Crust. It's a Missouri-based company, a little bit smaller. You would be a much bigger fish in a small pond in our scenario. We did just recently pull on a couple more public K-12s to bring our number to 4 this August.
So you're relatively new to this.
Our company is relatively new to public K-12.
Okay.
And we did provide some references and testimonials from our current clients. And hopefully we can tell you that we've had a great partnership with those folks.
Reached out to a superintendent that I found that you all with, and we had a nice conversation with him, and they're financially seeing the benefit of that. Said food was food, is the way he put it. He didn't go and eat the lunch.
That must have been Mr. Rick Club from Greenville.
He didn't eat the lunch, so he just couldn't speak to the food. He said, but I think food's food. So he didn't have a lot to offer me on that part. I couldn't get my time.
We need a motion here.
Teenagers might have argued that.
I think they would have.
We'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion to move forward with OPA again. I think they've done a fine job here. Certainly improved drastically when changes need to be made.
They responded to our.
Just hearing the kids talk about it.
Well, the fact that our
And a good
numbers
cost.
are growing that are eating.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I'll make that motion to move forward with the
Motion
OPA
by Mr.
contract.
Second.
Second by Mr. Birdsong to contract with OPA for the 26-27 school year. All those in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your
We
time.
appreciate you. Thank you guys. You guys are getting new, you're growing, you're gonna get more into this, I'm sure.
I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
I think we're done.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah. But we do need to
Well, she had one thing I did.
I know she.
That's the goodies.
Goodies?
Oh, that's real nice. Oh, nice. Thanks so much.
It's,
Oh, thank you. It's good that she gave that after you both voted number 4. That might not
She might
Okay. My water, but it's still. Yeah. And I went Matt, since he didn't bother to
you can
come.
ask me questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know.
Well, no, but if I don't, I'll just.
And see what the restroom. I do that. I might take one of those too if it doesn't have any boots.
How many waters?
Oh, let's hope it didn't have
Yes,
boots.
ma'am.
How many waters we need?
Right now, we.
I need a water. I'm like,
Trying to think.
oh,
Does anybody else need a water?
Anybody else need water? Use
I'm good, thank you, Mr. Simley.
right there.
Because the one is 17, 18. And it's 97,000. I don't know, we'll have to talk about it. I'm not opposed to buying new one.
Does their wings consider that?
I mean, I know we gotta watch our.
No, over this.
We gotta watch our money's on reoccurring. We know we have to
But
spend
to me,
it.
$10 a fee to take the full 52 hours.
Yeah.
you're gonna over.
Yes.
Easy to
Yeah. I think we need to discuss that.
You know, I looked at those other guys and the reviews online were,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I mean, and of course, like she said, they've got 4 schools, so they've got nothing to show.
they,
yet.
yes,
They're not there.
And
they're
I-
not there.
I really don't feel like being a
And,
crash
and
test
they've done a lot of, they've done, if 3 years ago, we probably would have said, hey, we really need to look at something. But
Yes. This past year, with the new manager.
Oh, my gosh.
It's been tremendously different.
It comes.
Yeah, so. Are we?
Okay.
Good. I think it's good.
I think they're good.
Yeah, we're just taking a 2 seconds.
I think it would be, you know, I think we're making.
You know, when there's like an inventory issue or something happens with the freezer or whatever, they just go to the neighboring school and get some stuff to bring back.
Yeah.
You know, I've been in pretty schools where that's happened, where a freezer's gone out, we sit out and feed the kids today. They go to another school, get stuff, come back. and feed the
Oh,
kids.
okay. All right, so it's only.
Restroom break, 'cause I need one.
Oh, man, I wasn't sure I was gonna make it. through.
Sometimes,
I
yeah.
wasn't sure I could get through the FFA deal.
Oh. It's awful when you don't want to leave when kids are
I don't
presenting.
know
It's
what
awful.
Okay.
Moving on here.
Moving on. Approved physical therapy contract with Dr. Gillette.
So we did the OT last month. We just needed to go ahead and approve the physical therapy. We don't
Gotcha.
see changes in there.
Gotcha.
Mr. York recommends them.
Yeah, I'll make a
Had a good
motion that
relationship.
we approve.
Motion, Mr. Birdsong. Second, Ms. Wells. All those in favor? Carries.
All right, the bus situation.
Bus situation.
I'm sorry. I
No,
didn't
go
jump
ahead.
ahead of you.
You're all right. I'm letting you do this.
I was all for the new bus idea because I thought couldn't find one this year, so we've got to purchase something. I feel like we're not taking care of our fleet. So we went down the path of the new bus. Then Lonnie called them again, and they do have a used bus. And so I think that might be our best way to go. If you all want to do that, what would happen is we can just let them know. And that way they'll hold it for us. It'll be July that we can get it, and then we would do the payment in July, so that way it goes on the next fiscal year. That's more 97,000. I think you'll see it in there.
Yeah.
And it's only got like 17, 18,000 miles on it.
Which
So
is not a lot.
So,
No.
yeah, so it's a
Okay.
3-year-old bus.
I had myself confused. I had the
Yeah,
numbers
we were
backwards.
thinking.
I thought it was like a 17 or 18, but that's how many miles.
That's how
That's
many
how many
miles
miles.
are on it. It was under 20,000 miles, so that's pretty good find. Thank you so much.
I'm still has a 2-year warranty.
And it still has
That was-
actually
that was-
5
that
years
was-
and 10 years,
I'm
so
okay.
some of them are a little longer. even.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of lucked out here if we want to go that
And we
direction.
have 120 in the budget
Yeah.
Yes.
currently, so we're not even gonna spend that.
Well, of our, yes, for next year.
Yeah.
For next year, we'll put 120 in there. This year's current 120, we have about
spent
50
hard
something
enough.
left.
What
In
is
that.
the average mileage on?
Per year.
Great question. I think they're all over the place, really. I could
Yeah.
find out that.
I know a lot of them are up there in years.
Yeah.
But the miles probably aren't.
Miles
May not.
weren't, I don't
Probably
think they
not.
were crazy high, but they were getting some age on them. I think the last time we talked about it, most of them were at least 10 years.
Yeah,
old.
we
We had
just
that
had a
list
list
in
not
there.
too long
Yeah.
ago.
It was maybe in the fall and
Yeah.
August. I think we had an update of what
Yeah.
those, and they were on that chart.
Yeah, because Lonnie gave us a talk.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And we have about 4 buses that are not in service that would be considered a junk.
So what do we need? Is there-
Well, we had
rotation where we
surplus.
can get rid of maybe some of these before they get zero value?
We talked a lot about that today, actually. We really talked about trying to move them along while they still had some
Yeah,
value.
we need to maybe find a new route.
Instead of just
That's something.
saving for scrap.
Well, and
metal.
if we're getting down to less than 5 routes,
Yeah, because we're looking at 4.
it won't be as terrible. I mean, you're still spending
We
a
have
lot of
some
money.
trip
but-
buses.
But you're not, if we're eliminating routes,
don't
we don't
need
need to have
8
a bunch of
buses.
buses.
Yeah, you bet.
Right.
That's
So
what
we
we
need
take
to-
care of.
Now, I
stairs
think
and
we have
trips, I would
13,
think.
I think 4 aren't in use, so you're really looking at about 9. So that's, and then if we add one, maybe we can let go of one that is of those 9.
Yeah, let's
That are
add
still,
one.
that are still.
Let's add one and let go of
running.
5.
Well, the
Yeah.
4, which is
Talking about one that's still in good shape, not the 4 that don't.
You try to put, we just need to, for the next couple of years, put a plan of that, of how we're gonna rotate things out.
Yeah.
You know, keeping something to work when it does, when it's to junk, does the district zero,
Well, like the one that,
Get
the
nothing
one
out.
still sitting out behind Bus Barn, it's.
yeah.
I mean, that-
Well, and remember, we did surplus one just a couple of
Yes.
months ago,
Yes.
and Josh was here at that time, and he was gonna put it out there. He got overwhelmed with all these other things, didn't put it out, and Dean and I have actually talked about it. So we're gonna get him on the surplus side, because we've already surplused them, we just didn't put them out.
Yes,
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
they're here only because we haven't
Gotcha.
taken them back. So I think we'll get those out. I think there was 2 or 3
You
that
got
I
plenty of
surplused
room
that
out here.
night. We'll move that
Yeah.
direction, and
Good.
then, again, we talked about it today. If we get another one, hey, move another one
Still-
out
still-
that's still running.
Running.
Yeah.
Well, then,
Okay.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we buy the 23 Bluebird for $97,290.
I'll
For the
second
20,
that
for the
motion.
27, 28 school year.
Yes.
For the
Yeah.
27,
So we're gonna do it for July.
yes, for the
Yeah.
20
The
Motion
purchase,
to
the
Bird
purchase in
Song.
July.
26,
for next year.
27 years.
We're gonna let them know we're taking it,
Yeah.
and then they'll
So we
ride
can-
and purchase in
So
July.
we can put a marker on
That's it. That's it.
all those in favor? Motion carried.
Thank you all. I think that's good, especially since we have no one. So
Yeah,
it makes me
that's-
feel a
that's
little bit
good
better
luck.
than we got something there.
Good luck. Approved bank signature form.
You guys already did that in the, I think, right? Was
reorganization.
that all taken care of in the reorganization meeting?
I believe
I
so.
believe it
Okay,
Yes.
so I don't think there's anything else we need to do on that. I didn't realize it was in there. We just knew we had to do it tonight.
Discussion of preliminary budget for fiscal 27.
Yeah, it is very preliminary. I went ahead and put a copy in there of that budget page so you could see it, but it is not well updated at all. I know, it's always so hard for you to see.
Yeah.
But you can start to see some of the numbers. There's a few things that are in there that are updated, others that are
Gotta
just what
use
we
Doug's
traditionally
Doug's
have.
Zoom technique.
Yeah.
Are there things here, Ms. Kingsley, that you're concerned, or we should be, are there a couple things, there's some,
Anything standing out.
thank you, that was the word I was trying to come up with,
I'll
Adam.
help Tony out.
Thank you.
Anything standing out.
That we should be concerned.
Man, I realize.
Are happy about.
Right, right. I think that one of the things that our admin team has been very focused on, really, including the first year I was here, all 3 years, has really been when there's opportunities that we don't have a need for a teacher and someone resigns, that we don't replace. So I think that's the big piece, because staffing is our most expensive thing, our biggest expenditure. So I think we're doing a good job of that, of recognizing that, and then making those adjustments that are needed. I put in, several notes to you guys, just thinking about hold harmless. I know that that was a big part of conversation in our last meeting, so trying to understand what that would do to us and how we would have to maybe adjust. I think what I am hearing is that if hold harmless goes out of the formula, they will do something to try and mitigate that change. We should still be focused on that, but maybe not afraid of it. So I think that's probably something to be aware of. Skim down through this a little bit. I think one of the things that we've done in the last couple of years is look at keeping our salary schedule as it is and putting an addendum in there, because in that year we wanted to make an increase in salary, but we didn't want it to be on the salary schedule because once it goes on there, it doesn't come off. And so I have wanted to raise the base myself. I feel like our base is too low, but we are also going through some difficult financial times in the world of what we might be getting. And so to me, at this point, it would be wise for us to continue with some sort of an addendum and then see if we can live with that. And so maybe looking at, and I gave you guys just a couple of scenarios, again, preliminary, but I think you can get the idea about how much that kind of an increase would cost. And so looking at that and going, okay, if last year we gave overall $1,500, if we went ahead and kept that and gave another one, what would that look like? How would that impact our bottom line? Our reserves are high. Personally, being conservative, I like to keep them high, but I also recognize that the state at some point is going to say, if your reserves are above, say, 60%, then we're going to stop giving you all the state aid until you get down below that. And so that's a conversation that's happening right now. Nobody's put any outline out there or guideline out there, but that is something we have to kind of be aware of. Personally, I would kind of like to see how the audit shakes out this next year before really considering what your reserves are. This year has been a unique year. Look very closely at our reserve, our revenues. We looked at them very closely, April and I together, going through the general ledger and just really thinking about what we're getting, where we're at, what we anticipated. And sometimes those numbers aren't as high as I wanted them to be. Now, we'll see when we get the rest of our revenues, because the year's not over. And sometimes they withhold a little bit. They say they're going to give you this much, and then they only give you this much, and then they wait to see if there's enough in the pot, and then they give you the rest of it. So things like that, because everything is a little bit uncomfortable, really, at the state level, what they're dealing with revenues and funding, I would like to see what that came out to. So you all really look at your bottom line in all
And
this.
it's hard to figure, because every year we have this discussion, we never know what's coming. You don't know what the formula is gonna be.
In some years,
We're at a best guess.
this year, next year, these couple of years are gonna be more concerning with the fluctuations than they have been in our past, maybe. So I think that's where you have to kind of be mindful. So kind of maybe going, okay, let's hold steady here on what we've committed to, but let's look at how we could maybe do an addendum and pay out of some of the money, but not go to.
Not be that help
no.
to that.
That's right. If you put it in here, you can't go back. The only way you can go back there is to cut your staff, and you don't want to do that. We don't want to cut staff. Never.
I think what Ms. Kingsley said, the state is gonna come in eventually with a number, and in a school board training that was kind of tiptoed around, that there was gonna be at some point a number the state's gonna say, hey, if you have over this, you're
You're not going to get your state aid.
Yeah,
the other side of the factor is too, they're not giving us money to hold on to it. Now we have to plan, and we have to make sure that we can take a rough patch.
That's right.
But I'm really surprised that we have the number that we have, but it's because, and we did a lot with. It's not because we didn't do things.
Right.
I mean, we've improved our school from one end to the other
Dramatically
on a ton of
improved it.
stuff.
Yes.
So now the other side of that is we are going to spend some of that over the next couple of years,
Yes.
and just inadvertently on things.
Yep.
And it's so.
But that's what it's there
It's going to shrink on its own.
But that's what it's there for.
But yeah.
But you're right. It is given. It is intended to run our school
Yeah,
now.
it's
It's
to be
not supposed to
used.
be to
Yeah.
create savings. It's really not supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm grateful it's there right now. I think there's a lot of school districts right now that are in a scary
Wishing they
position.
had it.
They do, and
Not
they're running
in a
off
good
of 2.75 tax levies because they can't get a raise in their
Yeah.
communities. In our community, I support our school phenomenally. So we're in a good place. be cautious how we go forth, but we'll ride it out.
Be
That's what
cautious,
I
but
think.
don't be
We'll ride
scared.
it out. I don't feel any danger.
Yeah, I'll say
And
be
we can-
cautious, but don't be scared.
We can
That's
take a
right.
hit a little bit.
We can afford a little bit of a hit, so. So that's pretty much it. If the preliminaries in there, I'll be working very heavily. I've asked our admin team to put together big purchases of things that are really outside the budget that they need or are looking at for next year. I'll be looking through that. We've got a few needs, when it comes to technology. We've also got safety kind of coming at us. They say they're going to provide money for that, or that you don't have to follow the provision if they don't provide funding. However, there are some things that maybe with small amount of money that we might need to be thinking about in districts. We may need to put just a little bit in there for some safety upgrades. Signage was one thing we talked about.
Yes.
Did you get any information
No,
on signage yet? Okay,
I've been
Carl and I
so-
talked about you today.
I've
Wondered if
been
you-
trying to catch up on my own stuff and haven't got to that.
That's
point.
okay.
I
That's okay.
apologize.
If you get any info on that, we were looking at some signs, as well as the flags or the signs in the gym. Remember the different Frisco leagues? We were going to
Oh,
improve
the
those
banners.
flags, the banners.
Yeah,
thank you for
that'd
that.
be nice to do that.
Yeah, I think we need to upgrade.
Well, I
them.
think that's something too, we
This
can
summer
work
be a
on this
good time
summer.
to-
You know, we can get that done. There's plenty of time this summer, we can work on
Yeah,
some
we'll
of
get
that
those up.
stuff
So
done.
yeah,
We've
Big
got one
way.
bid, so we're waiting on that.
Good.
But I would like to
I like the
some
idea
metal
you guys have
signs,
gone
like,
around.
say, gym entrance.
And it's been needing that for a
Because
while.
you
You know,
always
we've had some
get
good
people, they
updates
don't
in
know
there.
where
We
to come
need to
in.
kind of finish
know,
off with
visiting.
pizzazz.
It's kind of,
Yep.
you know, you
Pizzazz.
just, we can snazz it up a little bit.
I know some of those jazz words.
Oh
There-
yeah, we like those jazz. So
So
anyway, I'll take a look at their recommendations, the things that they need, and see if I can get that, our budget at least short up in a pretty good place. By May is my goal, so that by our May board meeting, we can see how things are looking, and then
That's
we'll
what we
just
wanna
wait
keep
for the
that
state
in.
budget to be approved and then
I
approve
do
ours.
And
Unless you all are ready to roll, you know, whatever you'd like to do, I don't know that it'll change much on our end.
Usually have to
Even-
wait till June, don't we?
You can
That's
approve it.
That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
We have to
Well,
do it
last, I think last year.
We'll see.
'cause
We'll
we
see
were
how
waiting
Miss
on-
Kingsley
we were
feels
waiting
in
on
May.
state
Exactly,
funding.
exactly. Well, last year, I think you approved it in June, and then we amended it in July.
Yeah.
Because they hadn't gotten some things, and they were gonna be big ticket things that we need to know, so.
Most likely, we won't know what the state's doing until September.
That's where I'm at. I don't think we will.
I was gonna say next
So
October.
that's why I thought we might reach a point if we have everything in there to go, let's go ahead and approve it, because there's nothing else
Then we'll
we
just
can
amend
do.
it.
And then you'll amend it, exactly.
I'll take
I
this.
think that was it on that one. Unless you guys had questions or things, I guess my question to you all, is there anything that you all want me to be looking at, and particularly when it comes to the budget, you wanted me to be mindful of?
No, I think your idea with the big expenditures, and if there's anything that's gonna be outside the box a little bit,
Mhm.
I mean, because you kind of know the norm.
Yep.
I mean,
Right.
you've got years and years of whatever
Yep.
that is, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
But,
And we'll plan
You
for
know,
anything
and,
exceptional for next year.
and also, you know, if there's things that are outside the box, but it really makes a difference in our school, let's look at that, because we
Yeah.
do have 90% reserves. So
Yeah, if
Let's
it's
make that
something
happen.
that we know
Right.
would
91.5.
benefit the school.
Unheard of.
Bigger.
It's getting bigger by the year. Okay.
Alright. Set May 26th.
May Day,
May
21st, I think.
21st
Josh,
is what they
we're gonna-
call.
Yep,
this all ties into.
Which works fine for me.
So.
I have nothing on my calendar. It gives me a day back from the state golf tournament to prepare, so
21st.
it's over the 19th,
Work 2 days and I'm off 4 days, Josh.
21st.
We're gonna go with the regular day?
That's the regular.
I'm
Seeing if it works for everybody.
Yeah.
21st.
Huh?
Doesn't work for me.
Doesn't work for you?
17th.
Oh, you gotta have something going on that weekend.
Well, just move to the next Saturday.
Invite.
Well, that's Saturday.
Invites are.
The rehearsal's Thursday. My preacher can do it.
Oh, I
yeah.
see, I see.
Well, let's like take off during the day to do that, and that way you can be here that.
That's.
At 6 p.m. So that's going.
Would the
I
Wednesday?
mean, we could probably make it a day without
Man, when,
As long as she's
the
got all-
20th,
I can do that. I can do
As
that.
long as you got all the rest of your job.
Hey.
Yeah.
The day
the
before.
20th, the 20th,
It'll be
okay.
done.
As long as that doesn't hinder you though, but if we need to pick a different day. then-
Josh, the 20th, okay, I think. Adam, what do you say? No?
The 20th is fine by me.
I have no issue on 20th either.
I'd say,
Will that be all right with you, April?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Does that work?
and that way it's not too early for her. to
Because
get all
there
the
are-
ready.
There are plannings of the pre-plannings
We need a motion.
Yes.
We do. So I'll make a motion, we do the 20th.
I'll second it.
Birdsong, second, Mr. Shearer.
Thank you, guys.
All those in favor of moving the board meeting for May to the 20th? Motion passes.
Madam, what do you know about pre-planning a wedding? Shannon told you what to do and you said yes.
And I showed up.
That's right.
Need a motion to go in, but
Make a motion to adjourn. Is that-
Or move to close.
move to close.
Move to close.
Yes.
Second, Mr. Birdsong. All those in favor, roll call, actually.
Yep.
Darla?
Here.
Yes.
She's moved
Let's
into
take a 5-minute
full
break.
librarian mode.
Yes.
I'm telling you right now.
I was